When we talk about human relationships, one of the deepest and most confusing questions often arises: what is the difference between lust and long-term affection? At first glance, they may look similar. Both make the heart race, both can create longing, and both can draw two people toward each other with powerful intensity. But the truth is, lust and long-term affection are not the same. And understanding the difference between the two is one of the most important lessons in love, relationships, and human connection. Lust begins with intensity. It is an attraction that strikes quickly, almost like lightning in the night sky. It often has a physical foundation, a rush of desire that pulls two people toward each other with little warning. Lust makes the body react before the mind has time to think. It creates a fire that burns hot and fast. You feel it in your heartbeat, in your breath, in the way your mind keeps returning to the other person with an almost unstoppable craving. It can feel exciting, intoxicating, and impossible to ignore. And in those moments, people often believe they are in love. But lust, by its very nature, is temporary. It thrives on novelty, on newness, on the thrill of what has not yet been discovered. When the excitement fades, when the physical desire becomes familiar, lust often loses its power. That does not mean lust is wrong. It is a natural human feeling. It is the spark that often begins relationships. It is the magnet that draws people together. But it is not the same as long-term affection, because affection is built slowly, and it does not depend only on desire. Long-term affection is different. It is quiet, steady, and patient. It is the feeling of comfort in another person's presence, the trust that grows through shared experiences, the warmth that comes from consistency. While lust demands instant gratification, affection thrives in the ordinary moments. It is not about racing heartbeats, but about a steady rhythm, not about craving, but about belonging. Affection is built when two people choose each other again and again, not just in moments of passion, but in moments of hardship, routine, and change. Think about the early stages of a relationship, when everything feels electric and exciting. That stage is often fueled by lust, the joy of discovery, the thrill of closeness, the intensity of attraction. But as time passes, what keeps a couple together is not lust alone. It is affection. It is the ability to enjoy each other's company when the novelty has worn off. It is the bond that deepens with laughter, patience, and shared growth. While lust says, "I want you right now," affection says, "I want you always," even in the ordinary days of life. One of the greatest challenges people face in relationships is confusing lust for love, because lust can feel overwhelming. It tricks the mind into believing it has found something permanent. But when the fire of lust fades, as it always does, some people mistake that fading for the end of love. They think the relationship has died, when in reality, it was never built on the foundation of long-term affection to begin with. True affection is not destroyed when the initial fire cools. It is what remains after the fire. It is the glowing warmth that lasts long after the sparks have faded. Lust is about possession, about wanting to take hold of someone in the present moment. But affection is about connection, about wanting to share a life with someone, not just a moment. Lust asks, "How do you make me feel right now?" Affection asks, "How can we grow together over time?" Lust is selfish at its core, while affection is selfless. It is willing to sacrifice, to compromise, to stay through challenges. Think of lust like a wave. It rises quickly, it crashes loudly, and then it fades back into the sea. But affection is like the tide, slow, steady, always present. It shapes the shore not with force, but with patience. In the short term, waves seem more powerful, but over time, it is the tide that changes everything. Science even shows the difference between lust and affection. Lust is driven by chemicals like dopamine and testosterone. It is about desire, about reward, about pleasure. It is the brain's way of pushing us toward reproduction and attraction. But affection is linked to oxytocin and vasopressin, chemicals that build bonding, trust, and stability. Lust ignites quickly but fades. Affection grows slowly but lasts. One is about excitement, the other is about commitment. And here is where the beauty lies. A healthy relationship often begins with lust, but it transforms into affection over time. The spark of desire may start the journey, but it is affection that sustains it. couples who mistake lust for love may fall apart when the spark dims, but couples who build affection learn that love is not just fire. It is also warmth, shelter, and light that guides them through the years. When you see an elderly couple sitting together, holding hands, smiling quietly at each other, you are not looking at lust. You are looking at affection. Lust may have been part of their story long ago, but what remains after decades is something much deeper. It is the comfort of knowing someone inside and out, the safety of being accepted for who you truly are, the joy of having a companion in every season of life. That is affection. It is important to remember, though, that lust and affection are not enemies. They can exist together. In fact, some of the happiest relationships are those where the spark of lust is rekindled from time to time, while the steady flame of affection keeps the relationship alive through the years. The danger lies only in believing that lust alone is enough to sustain a relationship, because when it fades, disappointment and confusion follow. But when couples understand that affection must grow alongside desire, they build a love that is both exciting and enduring. In American life today, where relationships are often rushed, where people chase excitement, where the thrill of newness is mistaken for permanence, the confusion between lust and affection has never been greater. Many relationships burn out quickly because they were built on lust alone. People fall in love with the feeling of desire, but they do not nurture the deeper bond that makes love last. And yet, those who take the time to cultivate affection discover a richness that lust can never provide. To build affection, couples must do more than just enjoy passion. They must share life. They must communicate openly, support each other's dreams, navigate challenges together, and create memories that go beyond physical attraction. Affection is strengthened not in grand gestures, but in small, consistent acts, in listening, patience, in forgiveness, in kindness. Lust may spark the fire, but affection is the wood that keeps it burning through the cold nights of life. So when we ask, what is the difference between lust and long-term affection? The answer is simple yet profound. Lust is temporary, affection is lasting. Lust is about the self, affection is about the other. Lust is a spark, affection is a steady flame. And while lust may bring people together, it is affection that allows them to stay. Imagine two couples. The first is swept up in passion, unable to think beyond the present moment. Their love feels like fire, but when hardship comes, they drift apart. The second couple also begins with passion, but as time passes, they learn each other's fears, support each other's struggles, and choose each other again and again. Years later, their love may not look as fiery, but it is unshakable. That is the difference. One burns out, the other endures. And perhaps that is the lesson for all of us. That true love is not about how fast your heart beats, but about how steady it can remain. It is not about the thrill of the first kiss, but about the comfort of 1,000 quiet mornings together. It is not about the hunger of desire, but about the peace of knowing you are loved even when the fire cools. Lust is powerful, but it is only the beginning. Affection is the destination, and the couples who learn this difference are the ones who discover love in its truest form. Not fleeting, not fragile,